Hi guys, welcome to Flowcast, a podcast by Flowout where we chat with successful entrepreneurs, freelancers, and other amazing professionals that are crushing it in their game. We are Flo and Peter and we'll be your host on this audio journey. This week's episode, we'll talk with Matic Užmah, who is currently building the video-first internet over at Synthesia. We'll get to know Matic, who is going to share his knowledge and experience. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
All right, like Flo said in the introduction, today we are here with one and only Matic Užmah. Matic is a serial entrepreneur and regional director of EMEA for SaaS Talk Local. From helping grow multiple successful SaaS businesses, owning his first business at 22 years old, to now building the first video internet at Synthesia Technologies. Matic, welcome to our podcast.
Hi guys, thanks you for the invitation. Good to be here.
Yeah, we are excited for you to be here, and to kick it off in a more relaxed manner, let's start with your introduction. How would your family and friends describe you?
I think that's first and the toughest question. I would say probably trustworthy, a bit goofy, funny guy.
And I heard that you are a dad now for like you became a dad recently, like 2 years ago. Do you think they would describe you now differently than before that?
I don't know. Probably I party less. I mean, I party less often, but I still party hard when I do. I don't think that much changed, but you just grow up. You're a different person than you were 10 years ago or 5 years ago. But I think that in terms of me on the outside, nothing changed. But for me, I think once you have a family and a healthy family and healthy children, I mean, that's one of the best things, one of the best feelings that you can have above all. So yeah, I don't think that people will describe me differently just because you have a baby. I mean, it's a toddler now, but yeah, I mean, things get a bit serious, but still, you have to stay, I think, kid for the whole life, not to get crazy. So yeah, I don't know if I answer.
Yeah, you did. I mean, I can't say that I can relate yet, but hopefully one day I will. And what do you think your unique skill is that has helped you become so successful or get you to the point you are today?
I would first define what success is, if we want to do this, but I think that you are, hardworking, and know how to set your priorities, willing to learn, sometimes know when to shut up and listen. Willing to say no, stay away from the toxic people, all this stuff. I think that if I go back to success a bit later, but I think in terms of the priorities you have to set, again, it changes during your lifetime. When you're 25, your priorities and are way different than now. So now, how I think now, it's like you plan and you do things more on the long term, even with investing or work or with kids or with staying healthy. If you compare it to like when you are 25 or 20, you just, at least I did, you think maybe more like year up front or even a week. You don't care about where you will invest your time and money. So it's really hard to say. But if I go back to the success, I think I'm quite successful, but not in terms of money and business success, because in that sense, I'm probably not. Because in business you can compare yourself. When you have $1 million, you compare yourself to 10 million, et cetera, and then it's never-ending story. But I think if you find this inner why, or whatever Simon Sinek says, why you do what you do, you love to do, you are good at it, and you know how to make money. And there is another very, very crucial thing, that is good for other people, because if this is missing, then you can just sell drugs and alcohol or guns, and you can be good at it, but it's probably not good for the rest of the society. And you have good friends and family around yourself, then I think you can say, okay, I'm quite successful. So I think it's like step by step. So when I was like 10 years younger, my goal was not always, but you usually think about, okay, how can I get to $10 million, 50 million, 100 million? But now that's just part of the game. It's not the most important part, at least not for me.
Yeah, I can definitely agree that success is really subjective. What can be successful one person can be failure to another. But I mean, at least professionally, from the looks of your CV, you seem pretty successful to us. And to dig deeper into your background, what was your path to get to the point you are today? Can you expand a bit about your background, like your education, previous roles, etc.?
Yeah, I think I was that's stupid. I don't know what's the other word to say, that you're like naive for the first 30 years of my life. Sometimes you don't know that there is an obstacle, and I was just pushing, and then people were like, oh, stop doing that, go have normal job, or do that and that, don't do this, what you're doing now, it's pointless, grow up, or all this stuff. And I think I was like a naive and maybe like stubborn, and I said, no, okay, I will just push, let's see. I'm now on this train or bike or whatever you are on my way, and I was not easily convinced that I should jump to another train. So I studied. I actually I applied for architecture academy in Slovenia, in Ljubljana. So I was not accepted. So my second choice was also architecture, and I was not accepted. The third one was civil engineering. So I went to Maribor. I studied there for 7 years. I added to civil engineering a bit of the economy. And yeah, I think I was like the student, barely made it through the college years. But I did a lot of other stuff. So like organizing concerts, doing TEDx, what else? Yeah, a lot of these exchange student programs, not only the Erasmus, but also when we were like very, very young, we visited Stanford and what was that? Yeah, Columbia in New York. So
Nice.
I got to know how big the world is and where are the let's say success steps. When you are in a small city, in a small bubble, you think, okay, I'm here. I have this, I did like 10 concerts, so you're doing good. But then you see, you travel, you see other people, and it's okay, you're nothing. You still have to work a lot. So long story short, I got a first official job at Studio Moderna. That was it's a big e-commerce player here in Eastern and Southeastern Europe. At that time, Sandy Cheshko was, I think, the biggest owner, and he's the biggest owner now again. So he bought his shares back. And when I got the job there, I was like, paid really low, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working for the most successful entrepreneur in Slovenia, so that's good. No, it was not. It was like I suffered a lot, learned like almost nothing. The only thing that I learned was that the corporate world is not for me. At least at that point, was not for me. And they put me into the call center, so I had to call a lot of 200 calls per day. So you learn how to deal with customers. So I think in 3 weeks, I sold, I think, one mattress and one pan, something like that. So total disaster. But it was more as a training, not like a real work, just to get to know the processes. After 1 year, I started thinking about my own company. I don't know, I was like maybe 21, 22, something like that. I didn't have any idea how to build a company, but at that time, I think it was like first couple of years of Facebook and all the social media. So everything looks very sexy and very easy to do. You just, have to build an application and then invite friends and you're a millionaire. But obviously it's not that easy. You have to build a team, have to build a product, you have to build MVP, all this stuff. So my first project was doomed even before we started making money. So it was not really a company. After that, I networked. I tried to network a lot just to learn and to see how other people think. So at some point, I think I met with Mateusz from Pivo, and we started working together at Pivo for, I think it was a year or two. We can come back to this later. After Pivo, I went to my first Danish journey. So I joined Codable as a marketing growth or whatever was the title, but essentially trying to get more customers, understand customers. We did a lot of interviews with our customers, so that was fun. After that, I think I moved to France because my girlfriend at the time, she was playing handball in French league. So for me, it was much easier to move there. So you can work remotely. Yeah, I went to France for just a week, and then it was 1 month, and then 2 months and 3 months, and then at the end, I think we stayed for 4 years, something like that. In France, I founded the Support Hero, which is still alive. It's a self-serve SaaS tool, similar to Intercom Educate or Help Scout, Help Docs, like that. And long story short, we sold the company in 2019. And after that, I got a little bit of imposter syndrome or whatever it is called. I didn't know really what to do. Did a bit of consulting gigs, which is good, but still, I was not really. I would not say happy, but it was okay-ish. But then I spoke with Victor and Jacob from Synthesia, and that call changed my way of thinking. I said, okay, I closed my computer. I said, okay, this is it. So I'll fast forward 1.5 years now, I'm here. Yeah, maybe I forgot something. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I love where this conversation is going. We're just getting started and I'm already learning so much. So thank you for being so upfront. Let's talk about your current work. You're now part of Synthesia. What's your role there? What does the company actually do?
At Synthesia, we are in 10 years, we will probably help people building recording movies from your own computer. At the moment, we help bigger companies to learn and educate and train their employees, communicate with the shareholders or whatever, with their own avatars, or they can use our avatars. So essentially, the avatar is the first product that came out, and then we created a studio, which is essentially a dashboard when you can create the presentations, and the avatars are deepfake real people. So the duplicates of the real people. So if you want to create your own avatar, you have 3 options at Synthesia. You can do it with a webcam from studio, or yeah, just 2 options actually. Technically 3 options, but 2 options for a user. Usually people are using it for learning and development product explainer videos, tutorials, and training. We are very strict with moderation, meaning we don't allow all the content through. So no alcohol, advertising of alcohol, sex, drugs, war, political purposes, no satirical content. So it's pretty strict. And how it works, we have like this, let's say, 3 lights. When you create an account, you're on the yellow light, so we kind of monitor what you're doing or what you're saying. And even before the video is published, it goes through the moderation process. If you want to promote racial discrimination or whatever, or alcohol, then we'll probably stop you, so the video will not be generated. But it all depends on the type of the content. So obviously, if you're doing a documentary on the Second World War and you're talking about Hitler, we will not stop you. But if you go to the extent and say, let's kill all the whatever, then we will just stop you. So how it works technically, first it's the computer that checks the text, and then we have a huge moderation team that is working 24/7 now since last 3 months. All the countries, all the continents, not all the countries, but all continents that check one by one all the videos that were flagged with red flag. If that's not okay, then of course we have a legal department as well, but we try to stop it at the one-on-one communication with the customer. I think I went too far with the avatars, but it's really important, because last week I spoke with the creative team in Ljubljana, and they wanted to use it for satirical purposes, and for me it was unable. I was unable to tell them that no, you cannot do it. So I made a presentation about the moderation and all this stuff. So guys, no, you cannot use it. But then they were like, okay, maybe. And I said maybe another service in 2 years, but definitely our service is more for corpo customers like BBC, Accenture, Facebook, Google, like that.
Yeah, over here at Flowcast, we love hearing business stories. How did the initial idea for Synthesia come up?
I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say, but Mark Cuban is one of the first investors.
Okay.
The Victor and Steph, they were original founders, and they had 2 professors from Germany and UK that basically started with a research paper, and then the avatar was born. The guys, they pitched to, I think they ran out of money for the first time. They pitched to Mark Cuban over the email. He replied back, which was quite awesome to get email back from Mark Cuban. Yeah, okay, I'm interested. Tell me more. He's very technical. He knows a lot of, all the questions were very to the point. And then, fast forward, the first version of avatars, now I think we are on the version 3 now. The first version were pretty cool, but still very robust. You can see that they were not in the loop. You can see awkward pauses. But now I think we already added our own voice, meaning that we don't use the third-party voice anymore. The version 3 of avatars are very sick. You're in the loop, so you don't know where the recording stops. You have these micro gestures. You can say, you can tag and say, okay, be a little bit angry or sad or whatever. That's quite cool. And when I joined, I think it was like 20 people. Now it's 130, 125, something like that. So growing very fast, which is a challenge in all fields: hiring right talent, building a product, building a company, a culture. So you have to be very, very careful who you hire, so you don't hire a bunch of douchebags. Because at that stage and at that speed, everybody has to be entrepreneurs in their own way, because you don't need, folks that will sit there and wait for, okay, give me some work. You have to find your own space, your own place, and deliver. So for just one example, this avatar creation from the webcam, I think Guillaume joined us, and he's on a product side, so he joined in May or June, and after 1 month, he just did the survey, send it out, test it, and in 1 week we had the MVP for the web avatars. So this kind of we try to hire that kind of people that are like very pushy and smart, and and also culturally fit. I always say that we don't have as douchebags at the company. So all the people are very friendly, willing to help, very down to earth. Sometimes again you get the imposter syndrome because a lot of smart people there. So you have to be very like what's the word? I don't recall it now, but yeah, okay. You get the point. So yeah, that's about it, how it started and where are we today.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing if you hire people that make you get the imposter syndrome because they're working so well. But before we move on, I gotta ask, how involved is Mr. Cuban in the project? Is he like hands-on or just monitoring it a bit?
Oh no, whenever we need, but it's mostly on us. Yeah, so he's not very involved on a day-to-day work.
All right, you already spoke about some challenges with monitoring the content and communicating the guidelines. What are some other obstacles that you identify regarding the project now and in the future?
So I work on a RevOps site in Synthesia. So we're setting the processes and the KPIs and all the tools for the commercial teams. So basically you're involved in not only commercial, but also with the product engineering, moderation team. And one of the big projects that we have now, we are just switching from one CRM to another CRM, which was a big project for the last 3 months. But it's always I think challenging, especially when you come to like this 120, 150 people. We are no longer a startup, you're not corporate company, but you have to set some rules and processes that look like you're back in the corporate world. But that's, I mean, it's nice because you are actually building it. We don't have a person that will say, okay, I will build the processes, but you learn something. You said, okay, this works. Let's document it and let's use it for the next 2-3 months. Another, I think, big project or challenge that we have now is on the product side. The big release of the collaboration. So you probably know collaboration from Figma, from Miro, and all the tools. So we are launching collaboration in the next couple of months. That's a huge step for us. Obviously, product is more sticky. More people can use the product. So we are really looking forward to launch this part. Because then you can easily get more users, and from the product marketing perspective, they can't wait to get the collaboration running. To get many hooks in the product, to keep people in, and then get more, invite more, and then once you're on 100, 150 seats per company, it's very hard to get out. So that's one thing. And always looking at the competitors. At the moment, we are like number 1 in the space in all the categories. If you go to G2, but that won't last forever. So we have to be ready when the competitors will start chasing us in terms of product and team and pricing and all this stuff. So we are aware that now we are in a good position, but in 1 or 2 years, you get competitors. So
yeah, talking about pricing, how do you approach pricing a SaaS product? Any tips for young entrepreneurs, startup owners?
The pricing, the new pricing on the current, I can't talk really deeply on the pricing, but
okay.
The discussion is on the table for like 6 months now. How should we tackle the pricing correctly? Not to, because at the moment, again, we are like the market leader in, you don't really know how much you can sell. And at the end of the day, you also have to be careful when the competitors come, if they can sell the same product with half full price or maybe 10%. But we have, I think, so one package is just personal users. This, I think it's $30. You get limited access to the platform, and you don't get your own avatar, and you get only version 1 avatars. And then we have this growth and corporate packages. I think growth is 1,000 minutes without additional avatar, and then I think it's 30 or 50,000 per year. A contract for a bigger companies, so they have unlimited access and their own avatars and version 3 avatars and stuff like that.
Yeah, you already mentioned this growth aspect. What are some tactics that you use to increase growth month over month?
Yeah, but it's a bit different that I was used to in the previous startups or previous companies. We act really fast, but for some things we tend to think and take some time to react. So I don't see that we have any growth hacks, but we are very strong on the SEO, obviously on the content side. We are producing videos, so we have a huge library of videos. We have the academy now running, which can be used as webinars, can be used as a specific use case for training and development or for product explainer videos. But the growth team is, I think they have like 9 or 6 people now. No, 9 or 10, something like that. I wouldn't say that they have any special tactics. Just trying to figure out what's working, what's not, and betting on the long tail.
Yeah, SEO is really powerful. We have been focusing on it a lot, and it also does magic for us. Providing value to the community is kind of the best tactic, at least in my opinion. Yeah, so you also give something, not just take. But to move away from Synthesia for a bit, we could confidently say that you're serial entrepreneur. So from where is this drive, this inner drive to build companies and not just join different companies, but also build your own?
Honestly, a short answer is I don't even know how it started. I think it's just a journey. Like I said before, like you try to look for things that are interesting. Then you meet certain people that maybe inspires you, and if you find it that you're good at it, then 10 years forward, you're here where you are. But for me, I don't know. Maybe it was at the beginning. It was more like, families usually pushing you. Hey, you have to learn. You have to go to college, and then you'll get a job at whatever company it is. But then I got fired from Studio Moderna, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to. I will do my own company. So maybe it was maybe this feeling that you have to show that you are capable of at the beginning. So like you have to prove it to your parents or society, whoever. I think that was honestly part of it, but then once you're in, that shouldn't be your drive forever. So maybe, but I wouldn't say I was lucky, because you have these ups and downs and you struggle a lot, especially if you go doing software. So my background is not in software, so you have to learn a lot. How to deal with software engineers, it's totally different field. So it's not only roses all the time. Mostly it's not. But I think you have to learn to live with it. Going back on the drive, I don't know. I mean, I like to build things. And like a technology, it's something that will be changing the future of how we live. So maybe it's that. I don't know. I just try to enjoy, learn new stuff, and see where the future is taking us, not only in the when I work, but also in geopolitical sense and politics and philosophy and all this stuff. Trying to be ahead, and try to prepare yourself to survive better. Maybe that's like a very oh, the catastrophe is coming, but I don't mean it. I don't mean it in this sense. More like if you are 2-3 steps ahead of others, it's much easier. Sometimes you can rest maybe for a day or two. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, I know what you mean. And growing a startup is definitely a special feeling, like seeing your startup grow, your idea evolve, getting ahead of the competition. But like you said, mostly it's not roses. It's really difficult. I mean, especially in the beginning and with no investment, when you're just bootstrapping without knowledge, coming from a different industry. So actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but your first company actually failed that you built, right? And
all of them failed. From the perspective of Synthesia, everything failed.
But okay, that's subjective. But how did you why didn't you stop there? What drove you forward? Like, how did you accept failure? And what did you learn from it?
Sometimes when I learn, I need like maybe a year or two to really understand what I learned in the past. For the first company, I just learned that, okay, you cannot build a company when you don't have any knowledge. For the first company, it was just a disaster. For Support Hero, it was a bit different. I knew the space, I knew the technology, I knew what we are doing. We knew who are our customers. We had a marketing machine, let's say, for the bootstrap company. We're doing a decent money. But then I also had like a mentor in Paris at the time. He was my co-founder's brother, and he was very strict and no roses. He just said, "Oh, you're just like funny guy, always straight to the point." He didn't have like time to say, "Oh, you're good," but he's, "Oh, this is shit. You're shit." I mean, all this like with a French accent.
Really French.
Yeah, but no, he was 100% right all the time. I mean, when I'm looking back, all the time. So I wouldn't change anything, because if you always follow somebody else, then you're nobody. So I did my mistakes, but now I understand. Okay, he said do this, this, and this, and I didn't do this, and we didn't fail really with Support Hero, but we could have done better. So I don't see. I mean, I see failure when other people maybe see success in me, and vice versa. So now I see a lot of failures. When the bars are so high, I see a lot of failures on my side, especially. So how you deal with it? just don't do these mistakes twice. Never do the mistake twice. And if it's a stupid mistake and you're, I don't know how old are you, but just don't do really stupid mistakes, and don't repeat the mistake twice. It's like, because I think at the beginning in the startup world was always like, oh, mistakes are good. Yeah, it's good to learn, but just don't intentionally do mistakes. I mean, if you're jumping from the plane with a parachute, you don't want to do the mistake, because it's over. So this kind of a hype of mistakes are good. Yeah, they're good, but just also try to avoid mistakes. But also mistakes makes you stronger. So for the people that are like rich people, rich kids, spoiled kids, they usually, when they got a slap, they're not prepared for it. I'm not saying that all of them are the same, but it's good that sometimes you go up and then you fail a little bit and say, okay, it's not good. Okay, I will take a day or two. And then you grow again and you fail again. So you try to say, okay, this was like a huge mistake. Now, what can I do to get over, in your head, so you're not feeling bad all the time. And then just, what can I learn and how can not repeat the same mistake? Usually I go for a run or to gym. So you don't do any stupid, you don't send any stupid emails or messages. Yeah, that was my kind of not a big problem, but I'm very how is it the word that you like explode very fast and then you calm down in 2 minutes? I don't know, but you
have a very high temper.
Yeah,
temper.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but yeah. So I had to learn now. This is it's not happening for the last like 5 years, but yeah. So I mean, just learn from mistakes.
Yeah, I kind of see this trend that in the startup world, mistakes are almost glorified sometimes. But yeah, for a takeaway here, do mistakes, don't intend to do them, and learn from them and move forward.
For the mistakes, the easiest way to, I think, to understand to how to think about mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes. And if you want to learn from other people's mistakes, go and read books that were written maybe 50 or 100 years ago. Because if these books survive to today, then obviously you can learn something from these books. So that's one thing. The second thing is also if you hang out with other people and talk with entrepreneurs or marketers or engineers or whoever, it's good to share your mistakes and knowledge, and not only success but also the founder stories. But I would say don't go too deep into this rabbit hole, because only listening to successful people, you will not get successful just by listening to successful people. I think it's a good shot, it's a good push, like a shot of Red Bull, and then don't drink Red Bull for a month. By the way, Red Bull.
I prefer Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, sorry.
I prefer Monster.
No, I wanted to say that it's good. I was like, in this was one of my mistakes. Okay, let's go and network. But that's just one small part that you're a good, decent person willing to listen. But you also have to go to the basement and work for 6 months. Just networking, it doesn't really help.
Yeah,
that's why I said have a one shot of Red Bull and then don't drink Red Bull for a month. Do your exercise and come back and say, okay, I will drink another Red Bull. Just drinking Red Bull will not make you a superstar athlete.
Yeah, definitely agree on this. And this is a great segue for our next question. Before co-founding Support Hero, you actually joined Pivo Labs as a head business development manager, right? And this was the time when Pivo was just pivoting from the social app as quickly as possible, building and dropping MVP with rapid speed. Yeah, can you expand this a bit? Like, what was it like? What was the process like?
I think I had discussion with Mateusz Petek. He's now Povio Labs founder, and he was also founder of Povio. They went to YC, and I had the apartment wall was full of these post-it stickers with sketches and the stuff, and he was at my place. We were talking about startups, and he said, "Oh, you're the same as I was, like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. Let's do something together." So when I joined Povio, it was not really Povio, and it was not really Povio Labs. But at that transition from Povio Labs, we built small MVP. So one of the MVPs, and I think now I can talk about this, but was the idea was, let's build a BlaBlaCar, BlaBlaCar, the car sharing service, the French one, and let's build similar to BlaBlaCar, but only from Slovenia to Macedonia. So this part of the Europe was not, the BlaBlaCar was not here, and they were expanding in the Western Europe. They were in the north, and I think they were in Hungary, not in Slovenia. At that time, Prevozi, Origo, they were like too strong. But the problem with Prevozi was monetization, so no, they were not charging. So the idea was, okay, we don't have any money. Let's build an app. Let's do a total MVP, and it's the startup by the book. So I think in 2 months, we build the app, and we chase all the drivers from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Serbia, from Facebook groups, for other services. So we call them, text them, everything. So at the end of the day, we got like 3,000 rights. I think it was users or whatever. So a decent number. We didn't have a business model at that point. But then the idea was, okay, BlaBlaCar, they are not really interested in this market. But if we prove that people are driving, maybe 1 ride per day, maybe 1 ride per month, and then 10, and then 100, BlaBlaCar will say, okay, fuck it, let's just buy this company. So that was the idea. I still don't know if it was a smart idea or not, but we got a competitor from Hungary. A similar page, similar app. They were similar tactics. They were also attacking the area in Balkan, the Adriatic region. And at one day, I think it was Wednesday, we went to and checked their website, and the website was down. And we're like, wow, what's going on? Because every day we got more rights on the app, and then we were refreshing the site. And eventually the site was back, and it was like big sign, acquired by BlaBlaCar. So they had the same intention, but they were like just too fast for us. And then we were like in the office, sitting in the office, broke, no money, of course, nothing. And we're like, holy shit. So yeah, that was the end. And later then I joined Codable, but it was like, very, very nice, let's say 3 months of learning how to come to close to maybe got acquired. And we didn't have a price tag on the company. Obviously, we didn't know what the exit price would be, or maybe like, I don't know, 10,000 euros, 100,000. We didn't know. That the goal was just, can we build something, and can we got acquired by BlaBlaCar? That's it. That was the idea. It was good, fun times.
Oh, yeah, you just talked about learning from others' mistakes, so thank you so much for sharing. What do you think is the biggest impact you left on Povio, and the biggest impact Povio left on you?
I don't know. I mean, definitely that was building the MVP with great engineers, and also Mateusz, who was just like, okay, guys, come here, let's learn together, let's help each other. So I think very friendly environment, which is not so common in Slovenia. I must say that. Usually, everybody are advertising that everybody are friends and helping each other. I wouldn't say it's true. It's on the outside is true, but in the inside, you will not really find a lot of people that are truly willing to help and not talking behind your back. That's unfortunate. That's the, I don't know. I mean, how it's in bigger bigger countries. I have experience from Denmark, maybe London, maybe Paris a bit, but so I think they left this like a good mark with me, very friendly. So what I left, I don't know. Like I said before, a goofy guy, very funny guy. So making jokes. I think if you ask the ex-Povio team or the Povio team that is Povio Labs now, they will say that I bring laugh to the office and take care of their flowers.
You already mentioned the next step in your career, Codable. You joined there as a head of growth. How was that role? Basically, you worked in startups prior to that, so you were familiar with generating growth, but was that something new for you? How was that experience?
Yeah, actually, it's a good, the title head of growth, but there were just two people, you know, so I don't know. It can be VP or senior VP, but doesn't really matter. Sorry. Yeah, so with the Codable, they were like they were growing very fast. They were looking for somebody who can help them with marketing actually, and somebody who can understand also the customer side, so customer support. And that's how the Support Hero was also born, then, from understanding the marketing and also the problems with the support. So when I joined, I think we were on 200K per month MRR, and when I left, I think we were on 500,000, something like that. So a decent money. Yeah, my job was to get more customers, to understand which channel works and which not. And maybe there is a good story from we wanted to try podcasts. I didn't know. I mean, I knew what podcasts are, but we didn't know how to make money from podcasts, how to get customers or whatever. So Neil Patel, I think, was at that time was a superstar on SEO or podcasts or whatever. So again, I didn't know should I approach him or not. So I just sent him an email. It was very I think that the title, the subject line was short and sweet question, and then, hey, we are doing this, and we want to open a new channel in our marketing, which is podcasts. Can I talk with you? I got email back from him. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I checked Codable, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh my gosh, I got email back from, Neil Patel. It's like, you text Mark Cuban, you got, yes, I will invest. It's like celebration. And then he introduced me to his partner in Silicon Valley. And he was like, okay, talk to him. And I think he's in Europe next week or whatever. And we can do a podcast together. So I think it was Wednesday when I emailed this other guy, Vasil Lazarov. Unfortunately, he passed away last summer. Yeah. And I texted him and he said, very politely, yeah, I'm in London. I have a conference in London. You can come and we can discuss the partnership there. So I was like, okay, when is the conference? Oh, it's on Saturday, so 4 days. And I was like, okay. So I said, okay, I'm booking the tickets. I'm booking the hostel. I'm going to London just to shake hands. I didn't know. I didn't check what was the conference about before I left because it was not really crucial for me. It was just, I didn't even know why I'm going. It was just some insight. Like, I think I have to go. I think this is a good opportunity. I don't know what I will do. Just be yourself, be polite, ask questions. Don't ask stupid questions. And, like penguins from Madagascar, just, wave and smile. Something like that. So yeah, so I landed there. I didn't tell him that I'm coming. I said, yeah, I will think about. So, and then I ended up at 7 a.m. in the conference room. Of course, the conference started at 9, and he was like, who are you? And I said, oh, we talk. Did you really come? I said, yeah, of course. I mean, you said it. I said, I'm coming. I said, you're crazy. Hey, sit here. Okay. So I met his whole team. Long story short, we did a lot of conferences together with Vasil. Then later on, we met, I think, in a couple of conferences, San Francisco and Boston. He introduced me to a lot of people in SaaS world, also to my co-founder in Paris. So that's one. Like, we did a podcast, 0 customers. So lesson here was just when you have a feeling that you have to, do something, like go and meet this person, let's do it. I didn't have any money. I slept in a hostel with like 8 people in the room. Because I don't know, I maybe I missed the room. That's a funny story. I woke up, I looked down, it was like 6 girls in the room, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much for me now in the morning. Come on, can you just go out? I need peace. But yeah, that's one like story from Codable. I left the company then. I left the company because with Vasil, I met Emeric, who is now CEO at Agora Pulse in Paris. And again, this guy sent me an email. I was in Slovenia. He said, hey, like in a week, we have a Christmas dinner with some founders in Paris. Would you like to come? And I was, again, that sounds like a good opportunity. So I went there. Again, I tried to listen, not to talk silly stuff. And then at the end, we talk about the support and what I was doing at Codable. And then Emeric said, yeah, my brother has a similar idea. And he also build an MVP, something like that. So maybe we can discuss. So fast forward to 2019, we got 1,200 customers, and then we sold the company.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think you have to listen to, I don't know, this inner voice or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, take every opportunity by the hand. Once you meet people like Neil Patel, like the whole new world open up for you, for sure.
I also texted David Cancel from Drift guys.
Okay.
So the Drift was maybe 2 years ago, like very sexy startup from Boston, like Profitwell and all these guys. So David and Elias, they were like kind of a superstars in the tech industry at that point. So Sequoia invested in them, got like 300 employees, and they started with this podcast. I don't remember. Oh my gosh, I don't remember the name. Seeking Wisdom, very good podcast. And they had this podcast, and they were like, okay, give us 6-star reviews. Give us 6-star reviews. And when they started, they didn't have a lot of reviews. So I was one of the first to give them the review and say something like, "This is how we should be taught in school." And then I texted him on LinkedIn. And they had this first Drift conference, and I texted him on LinkedIn and say, hey, and my mentor actually texted him a couple of times and didn't get any reply, and he was like 45. And I texted him with a screenshot of the podcast, and I said, hey, I love what you're doing. Just saying, like, shout out to you guys. And by the way, I'm coming to your conference. I just bought the ticket. And I will be there like 2 hours before. If you need anything on the conference, like I can move chairs or whatever. And he was like, wow, what the hell? Okay, let's meet. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to meet with me. So I met the whole team. But again, I didn't move any chairs, but it was like I think nice, again, opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And now I want to talk a bit about Product Hunt, since one of your previous companies, Referral Magic, was #1 on the platform when you launched. Yeah, and Product Hunt is really big and like really popular platform. Everyone wants to be there. How did you go about launching your product and being #1? Like any special strategy behind it?
I think I launched like maybe 30 products now since then on Product Hunt. So we kind of nailed it. I knew how to do the launch on Product Hunt, but again, you need an audience and you need the founder who is willing to like go to the next step. When we launched, I launched Support Hero. We were I think third or fourth, something like that, which is decent. Then I launched Referral Magic. This was one of the projects that I did with David Hansel and two guys from Istanbul, so two developers. It was semi-successful company, not really an exit, nothing special, but we learned a lot, and the guys are very, very down to earth. So this was, I think, that we were number one, and then a lot of people start calling me, "Hey, how did you launch? How did you launch?" And I was like, maybe, I mean, I can charge for it, right? Maybe. I mean, no, first thing I was like, oh, I will do it for free. Of course, I will help you guys. And then one friend of mine from New York said, why are you not charging you Europeans? You don't want to charge for it. I said, okay, I will charge like 200 euros. He was like, oh my gosh, 2000. Okay, let's think about it. So we started raising the pricing, but yeah, Product Hunt. First of all, you have to have a good product. And I think also the timing should be right when it was the peak of NFTs. And if you launch something else, it's very hard, you know, to get on the top because they usually have these Telegram groups and you know, get the upvotes easily. But yeah, we launched, I think, a couple of YC companies. Beacons is one of them. Like these are the guys who are doing this websites now for the phones. I think I'm too old to understand, but it's like you know, you have a website and then you have these profiles on it. What else did we launch that was like successful? Notion Competitor, but usually it was like 1 month before. Okay, let's do the marketing plan. Let's do all the messaging on all the platforms. Let's do the podcast with the founder. All the sequences should be like set correctly to people to upvote. Let's be careful on the timing when you go live. Be careful who don't upvote with VPNs, and you know, don't do the Fiverr stuff. Meaning don't use bots, you will get blocked. So all this, like for the product contest, when you have a community and like, you know, people behind you that will back you, like 100 200 people, and when you have a good product, then you still have to do the launch correctly and, you know, reply to all the comments and you know, try to engage with people, share it on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. I basically I forgot, because it was like 2 years ago since I did the last launch. I don't know if anything changed on Product Hunt since then, but yeah, it's a good platform. I think they have a couple of million views each day, or yeah. So it's a good strategy for when you're in the early stages. When I joined Synthesia, we were first, I mean, from the day one, we were like, oh, let's launch again on Product Hunt, because, you know, the product, deep fake avatars are like, you know, very sexy, interesting for people. So it would be easy for us to go to number one. But then strategy changed so much that at the moment, we are aiming for companies that are much bigger than a Product Hunt audience. So we just decided not to do it, because, you know, it takes maybe 2-3 people a week or two to at least to prepare for a decent launch. So we said, no, I think we kind of outgrown it. But the last launch on Product Hunt was 2021, 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
So sorry, I don't know. Maybe I messed up this Product Hunt, but yeah, it's a very good platform to launch new products, and especially to get the feedback. Sometimes you can even get an investor. I wouldn't advertise the Product Hunt as a platform to get investors, but I think one of our customers that launched with us, they got the investor after the Product Hunt. And even I think, yeah, Partech, one of the biggest VC companies in Paris, when we launched with Support Hero, they contacted me. Hey, I saw that you're launching Product Hunt. Would you like to talk? So I said, yeah, of course. But we never raised any money.
Yeah, and would you recommend any other platform apart from Product Hunt for launching SaaS businesses? Any alternatives?
I think Product Hunt is unique in that sense, but then you have AppSumo, which has a different business model, and similar to AppSumo, I don't recall now what's the service, but it's like just if you Google AppSumo alternatives, AppSumo is actually they have like 5 million emails, and you launch, and then you give, instead of charging 99 per month, you charge 99 once, or you have like different pricing tiers, maybe 50, 99, or 200, but you get like 5 million, 10 million eyeballs on your product. So it's very good for for the start, for the launch, because you get money in, you get a lot of feedback. But I would take AppSumo more as a marketing channel than a sales channel, because it's not a recurring revenue. You get paid once. Usually a lot of customers will churn because it's a very cheap product, and a lot of people will go on a shopping spree and buy products on AppSumo. And then you can get a lot of unsatisfied customers. So it's very tricky. We launched with Support Hero, and I think we got like 2,000 customers, and maybe 10% of them were stuck with the product, and 0 went to the SaaS, so subscription. So obviously, what you do on AppSumo, you say, at least this was like 3-4 years ago, you say, okay, now you pay 99 for this product, and then but you can get whatever, 5 seats, 1 seat, or usage, or just 1 folder, whatever your product does. And then if you want to invite more people to your platform, or if you want to use premium, whatever, then you can apply, and we give you the discount on the subscription. So instead of 99, you will pay 49 per month. So that's the trick with AppSumo. So you have to find out how you will convert this 2,000 ball of the bag of 2,000 users to subscription, to monthly paying, to monthly recurring revenue. We didn't succeed. I think we didn't get even one. So we got, I think, like 100,000 US dollars, which was, wow, huge success. But then it's a lot of support with these guys. I have to like, oh, I need this feature. They buy cheap product, and they want a lot of features. So that's the problem with AppSumo. But if you encounter this and say, okay, I know that I will get money, but I will have to pay for servers, because the intercom system will have more users and my CRM will have more users. But I have an idea how to use the referral program, or how to convert them from non-monthly recurring to monthly. Then it's a good idea. Just don't go it for money. What other platforms? We launched on Indie Hackers, I think, but that's just like a forum, so it was not really successful. So yeah. Then I think we launched with the Referral Magic on AppSumo as well, but it didn't go that well. I don't remember the numbers. So yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah, we've mentioned Support Hero a couple of times today, and I want to approach this topic from a bit of a different angle. If I'm not mistaken, you sold the company in 2019. How do you experience this exit? Is it emotional, or is it straight cold business decision? When you build something for such a, maybe not a long time, but very intensively, and then you sell it.
I think it was a smart decision. Now I even think, now I'm even like more convinced that it was a smart decision than before. But we were like stuck. We grew a lot, like slowly. We the product was a mature product. Like Agora Pools was the company that Nir Patel started. Kissmetrics used us. So we got a couple of logos. Again, not as many as Synthesia, no, but we got a couple of logos. But we were just totally bootstrapped. So at that point, Intercom started with the Intercom Educate, which is a part of their chat. So what Support Hero? So on for those that don't know, you have a lot of FAQ articles, knowledge-based articles in each SaaS tool. Obviously, you launch no feature, so people not Google but search for how this feature works or whatever, and how to integrate with Zapier, how to blah blah blah. And so we had this a middleman, which was Support Hero, that was, hey, so used for two purposes. First, gives the company analytics to what people search on their site, and show them this search. At that time, it was not as advanced as it is today, and give you the article or result like in a second. And for that was for the customers, and for our users, so companies that were using us, they got deep insights on what they are searching, when they are searching, what are the search queries that they're using, what words that they're using when they're searching. Because you build something and you call it X, and then people are calling it something else. So this was the trick. But Intercom, they had like millions of users, and probably billions of users if you get all the chat. I mean, they have a lot of data to learn from. So for them, it was very easy to build something like Support Hero. We even approached them at some point, say, hey, maybe we can do something together. Maybe we can, have an integration that they can buy us. But they were like Help Scout, Zendesk with a similar widget. So it was a widget on the side, so this chat. And at some point, we never seriously discussed this with my co-founder Florian, but then I was in New York, so I went to Drift conference in Boston, then I went to New York, and I got like a soft offer, like 2 offers, and I was like, it was in the middle of the night. I emailed Florian. I said, hey, I don't want to push, but what do you think? Because at that point we should have raised like a lot of money, and I'm not sure if we were ready to raise money, and went from 10 employees to 120. Maybe it was not the right decision. Maybe I should be like more bold and say, yeah, okay, fuck it, let's do it. But I still think it was kind of a rewarding, to build something from scratch, to get customers, to learn from them, to even see, okay, these customers are not for us. I can go to one example a bit later. So we tried to sell to one big company, and the sales cycle was 1 year, and then at the end they said no, and we were like disappointed. Oh, why? But our mentor always said, don't go for mid-market. You don't know how to sell to enterprise, go for mid-market. Yeah, so I remember it was raining I was in Manhattan, where I met with this guy in the WeWork office, and that was like starting the serious discussion: should we sell it or not? It was October. In November, we almost got the papers ready, and the due diligence and everything was like done by March. So in March, we had a dinner with my co-founder, a last supper, and then that was it. It was kind of a rewarding, but I was alone in Paris. I mean, not alone. Yeah, alone, not lonely, in Paris. So I didn't have the time or anyone to celebrate with. Like for me, it was like, okay, nice, but no. So it was not, we didn't open champagne. It was not like, oh, hey, it was rewarding, but on to the next step now.
Well, this conversation was so insightful. We're talking for like over an hour, and I feel like we just started. We know you're a busy man, and we want to be respectful to your time. So I propose that we wrap it up. And for the end, I would like to ask you 5 rapid questions. So just one answer.
Very rapid?
Very rapid. All right.
Okay.
Your favorite book?
Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, but we can discuss this again. I think when do we have like 5 minutes more?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah,
We have
I mean,
also
for the
20 minutes
books,
more.
I was like, I'm like very ashamed, but I would say now, but when I was in high school, I was like, why would you read books? And then I bought a book from Vladimir Bartol, Al-Araf. The first one, so not the one that we had to read for in the school. I think it was Al-Araf. Anyway, this book actually talks about, you know, the human against the destiny. So, and this book, I think, opened my mind to start reading more books. But that process was like very, very slow. It was not just one book and then you like, oh my gosh, I will start reading books. There were like 2 people, which I don't really like to like say I admire this person, because you know you have to have your own. You shouldn't like trust one person and follow one person. But I think that Stanley Kubrick, the director, and then after that Slavoj Žižek changed this also in me to go into the rabbit hole of the culture and movies and books and ideology. And then when you read them or listen to them or watch the movies, you know, you get a lot of this unknown stuff. So you dig deeper, and then you know eventually end up with, you know, Marcus Aurelius or Plato or whatever. And I'm not saying that I read everything about Plato, but you know, there is like a Plato's Republic. Okay, that's interesting. Let's pick it up. So long story short, I think that one book maybe changed a direction slightly, but then you're reading what you need at a certain stage of your life. Sometimes, and I spoke about this like a couple of weeks ago with my friend, and I said, oh my gosh, I was so stupid. You know this book from Jason Lemkin and Aaron Ross, Predictable Revenue? So it's about, you know, the revenue machine in the SaaS businesses. And I read this book when we were doing like 10,000 per month. So for like 2-3 employees.
Mm-hmm.
The book is actually written for, you know, when you're scaling, when you have 20 sales guys, 5 SDRs, you know, 100 employees or more. And now when we are building a bigger company, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I didn't understand the book. So sometimes, you know, you have to be ready. So for the book, I would go with Marcus Aurelius, because it's very broad and it's deep. It's for you, and I think you can learn when reading him. You can learn about, you know, your inner peace, and you know also how to deal with stress, how to not directly how to build companies, but you know this core, I think. So I would go with Marcus Aurelius or something like that.
All right, Marcus Aurelius. And your favorite podcast?
It was Seeking Wisdom. The first one was, I think, the best one for me, and I started listening to David and Dave. But now I would say Lex Friedman has a like very good content. I don't listen to podcasts daily. I have to listen to this one with the Kanye West now. I start listening with the Kanye West, but you know, it's 3 hours. You don't have usually 3 hours in one piece. But I would say Lex Friedman. I still don't know if this guy is an avatar or is he real or not. Maybe also Joe Rogan. That's a bit controversial, especially for the far left these days. I don't know why people so much hate him. And at that point, I think I like people that open questions on all sides and in all directions, and you don't need to believe everything, and you don't need to take everything from the podcast. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's bullshit. But if there's something that will stick with you, I think it's you say, oh, okay, this was smart, or maybe, oh, this is something that I have to think about. Like, a lot of people hate Jordan Peterson, but if with some things that Peterson is talking about, he's right. He's also right? But if you don't agree with him, just don't make fun. Oh, he said to make your own bed. Yeah, nothing really bad about making your own bed. And now when he's popular, and sometimes he's really talking rubbish, you just say, okay, Jordan, it's okay. You don't need to always back your heroes. Sometimes you have to say, this was stupid, and it's okay, but still you learn something from him or her. So yeah, sorry, long story short, podcast, I would go first one. Mine was Seeking Wisdom, because it was the right time for me, because I was like developing myself as a whatever, as a in business. And now I would say more like Lex Friedman, but for the couple of last 3-4 months, he's just talking about war. So I try to skip this and just listen to when he's talking about AI and aliens. So this stuff, but yeah.
All right, Seeking Wisdom and Lex Friedman. Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of Lex Friedman. He's always discussing such difficult topics. He's always covering difficult topics and really sharing some value. And your favorite productivity tool?
Sorry, what?
Your favorite productivity tool?
No, I don't know. I don't have one. Just no tools for productivity. Just go to flow and focus. But that's me. I don't need Pomodoro or just stuff. I just need 3 hours or 4 hours, 6 hours of deep work, no productivity, nothing, just whatever you're doing, just focus. I don't have productivity tools.
All right.
Well, I mean,
tools, just focus.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have. Can I just say? I don't know. I don't have.
Yeah, of course.
I use Notion. I use Google Calendar. Google Calendar is the best productivity tool.
Yeah, I mean, Notion is productivity tool as well.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, Notion Calendar.
Right. And what's the most used app on your phone? It can be professional or non-professional. Just most used app.
I don't know. I hope it's not Instagram.
Or TikTok.
No, I don't have a TikTok. I don't know. Google Calendar, WhatsApp, Signal, chess. I play chess a lot on the phone. I am avoiding Instagram now. So I mean, I'm avoiding to say it's Instagram. But, yeah, it's probably some of the social media apps. So.
Yeah. And your favorite hobby? Like, what's your go-to hobby? What you do the most in your free time? Work.
No. Because how I see hobbies, sorry, I don't have a rapid answer. But how I see hobbies, maybe an escape from what you do, but I usually my whole day is it's not like a hobby, but it's okay, I go to gym or whatever, you go for a run, and then you work, and then continue reading about I like architecture, I like philosophy, I like being fit for the sake of being healthy. Spending time with the friends and drinking maybe a good glass of wine. I like to travel, obviously. I don't have a specific hobby like kite surfing or I don't know. So yeah, if I have to pick, I would say like maybe architecture, design, something like that. That's my hobby, my secret hobby.
All right, gotcha. As always, it's supposed to be a rapid question, but every time we fail, it's always a debate at the end. But yeah, thanks you for coming. We love talking to you. It was a really insightful conversation, and yeah, I hope we speak again soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for the invitation, and yeah, have a great evening.